Hi everyone, and welcome to our live stream about the Assassin's Creed role-playing game. My name is Elena, and today I'm joined by Francesco Nepitello and Max Castellani. First off, can you guys introduce yourselves? Starting with Francesco to my left, right? Not sure.
To your left, correct. Hello, Elena. Hello, everyone. I'm Francesco Nepitello. I am the head of the RPG department for Simon. So I was the head of this project, together with Max Castellani and Andrea Macchi, who's not here today with us. I've been a professional game designer for decades, unfortunately, already.
Unfortunately.
And I designed games. And I designed games like the One Ring, based on the Lord of the Rings, like the nice poster that Helena has at her back and at my back also up there. And or like Sarkana, like Fantasy Roman Empire, and also many board games.
Yeah. You guys might remember Francesco from last year's Dune project, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Very close now.
Very cool.
Getting closer and closer.
What about you, Max? I think people are meeting you for the first time today.
For the first time, yes. I am Max Castellani, and I am a game designer and developer here for Guillotine Press and Simon. And I have been working together with my pal, Andrea Macchi, who's not here today, as Francesco told you, as several RPGs during the last years. And the one worth to mention could be probably Brancalonia, the spaghetti fantasy RPG. And of course, another project with the same publisher, which was called Inferno, Dante's Guide to Hell. And they were all based on the 5th edition of the most famous role-playing game of all times, as they used to know. But right now, we are happy to have the chance to work on something different, something with an original game system, and under the wing of Francesco, and getting benefit of his guidance and experience. So here we are with this Assassin's Creed role-playing game.
Yeah. We can get our very first question, which I see here. Biggest question: tabletop RPG or board game? I'm assuming they mean this project specifically and not in general. But yes, this is a role-playing game. Can you guys elaborate a bit further? Because I think maybe a lot of people are joining us from the Simon crowd, so they are used to our tabletop board games and our RPGs. So maybe you can say more about that.
Yeah. Yes, the Assassin's Creed RPG, it is a tabletop role-playing game, and that's why it's us here and not Andrea Chiarvesio or Michael Cinao from our big board game crowd at Simon. We are representing the new imprint of Simon, that is Guillotine Press, that is handling comic books and role-playing games. And Assassin's Creed is actually the tip of the iceberg, because we've been working on a lot of stuff since a long time now. So we have many pots on the fire, and Assassin's Creed is the one that is closest to delivery, because it's finished. And yes, so it's absolutely a role-playing game, and it's not a 5th edition based game. It's an original system, and it might be something different from what some players may be expecting, because it's a very innovative and different and fresh take on a role-playing game.
Yeah. So before we dive into the system and you introduce everything to everyone, I think we should start with our trailer. What do you say?
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Wow.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
cool.
Okay, if we were getting some stage fright with the pre-orders starting tomorrow, now we have like 2 times
Yeah.
as much.
True. So,
It's
so
really crazy.
exciting and also lots of questions. Let's start, I guess. I see already lots of questions in the comments. I'll get them as we go. You guys can keep the questions coming. We'll start talking and we'll pick the questions as the topics arise. So the Assassin's Creed RPG is here, and it's a lot. So what do we have here? What do you have for us? Let's start with Francesco, shall we?
Okay, let me start with like a little prologue. I mean, before you will have the chance to put your hands on these 3 books. There's one book you can get your hands on right now, and that's the Quick Starter rules that are already live, because I've seen that someone commented it on the comments. We have a full Quick Start that is perfectly playable and is available for free, both on our website and on DriveThru right now. So you can get a taste of, and quite a big bite of what we can. It's more than 130 pages of what we're producing. These 3 books that you see could be called booklets if they were not thick, because they are digest size. I mean, they're not letter or A4. They're smaller books. Because the philosophy behind the game and behind the format and everything was really to make something that was as accessible as possible. So it's a game you can carry with you easily without a huge bag. 3 books, you can put them in your bag, and it's easy to read in every place before sleeping and so on. So the 3 books you see, the first one on the center is the Animus Handbook. That's the core rules. It's the fundamental manual that you need to play the game. It has everything you need to play the game. It describes the world of Assassin's Creed, and especially it shows the specific point of view that we gave to this game. And we can get into more detail on this. Then we have Forging History on the left. That is the campaign book that Max and Andrea has been working long on it, and it's providing a lot of playable material right off the bat. It's 3 storylines that can allow you to play full campaigns. Again, in the world of Assassin's Creed, with already a lot of pre-prepared material. The Legacy of the Brotherhood is especially nice for big fans of the IP, of the franchise, because they feature a full roster of 13 popular assassins, the master assassins of the franchise. The characters that are also featured in our lineup of miniatures. And they're fully described in there with backstory, but it's not simply lore. So it's that plus playable sequences, playable scenes for the game. So all the 3 books are pages and pages of playable stuff. So they're not simply guides to the world of Assassin's Creed. They're actually your key to get into the game and play it.
Huh. Well, anything to add there, Max?
I could add that one of the storylines included in Forging History is, there's a sneak peek in one of the sessions included in the quick start that Francesco talked about. So the very first session set in World War II is basically the opening act of one of the 3 storylines of Forging History. So you can have a sneak peek of that too. So a bit of the rules and a bit of the storylines and the playable sequences that we prepare for you all. So yes, that's all I would add, because he's been very precise.
And an interesting question that just popped up: how will the Assassin's Creed eras work in the RPG game? Because the video games cover quite a lot of different time periods.
Yeah, time periods.
How did you address that for the RPG?
Yeah, we.
I can give you.
Yes, go.
I can give you the concept, and then Max can get into the details of exactly the ones we have. because I'm really sorry, Max, because I'm really proud of what we did with this. Because again, when you think about the Assassin's Creed game, of course, you think about the individual games and the different time periods that the video game explored. So you think about Italy in the Renaissance and American Revolution and so on. In this case, we made a sort of a step back, and in the game, the character you create is a modern day character. So you are a flesh and blood person that lives in the modern day. In this case, it's our canonical date is 2016, and you are a descendant of famous assassins who belonged to the Assassin Brotherhood, and then get involved in the war between the Assassin's Brotherhood, the war that has been going on for centuries between the Brotherhood and the Templar Order. So you explore different time frames because you're a flesh and blood guy who gets into the Animus and goes into a simulation and takes and starts exploring the ancestral memories of one of his ancestors, of her ancestors. So in the game, you can have a session of play that starts in the modern day, for example, and then moves to a simulation sequence. We call them sequences. It's a simulation sequence where you go into Italy in the Renaissance. But then again, you can get out of the Animus, and during another session, or even the same one, you can go into Spain during the Siglo de Oro, the Golden Century, where they were exploiting the American colonies. So it's, in a nutshell, the Assassin's Creed role-playing game is a time-traveling role-playing game because it will play with dozens of different time frames by using the same modern-day character. And
exactly.
Of course, that needed some adjustment with some discussion with Ubisoft about the lore. But of course, Max and Andrea were absolutely the right guys to do this.
Yeah, we were quite, we
proficient.
I personally played a lot of the games, all the first bunch, and then I lost track of it when my kids were born. But then I, catched up with them, and and it's a big lore. It's lots of stuff is going on with the series. If you play just the last games, you might just have a rough idea of what's behind it, because basically, if you take the first titles with Desmond Miles playing in the roles of Altair and then Ezio Auditore, that's the basics of what the series is today. So it was really a plus to know the lore in the game so well, because it was not that easy to approach. I mean, as Francesco said, you have to play between modern day with your alter ego in the game, and then all the characters that you might end up playing in time frames. Because as Francesco said, you can, in the same session, you can play 3 different characters, maybe more, because you have your modern day character, then you go into the Animus to play the Italian Renaissance and your Ezio Auditore, and then the subsequent simulation, you're in World War II and you're playing, a rebel against the Nazi army and so on. So we had to find a way mechanically to support the game by not having to always create character after character each time we went in a new time period. And we basically, since it's Simon, we had access to lots of materials that we can put in a game. So we thought of cards, and cards in the game are used to go, and as you can see in the slide that's up here, you can see the card of Ezio Auditore just put onto the character sheet, which is the paper that you see in the background. And just behind that Ezio Auditore card, as you might have seen in the trailer, there's all the areas that you can write from scratch. You can build your character on the character sheet, and that's your main character in the game. But each time you go visiting the time periods through exactly this one, each time you go, in the Animus to visit a new time frame, you just, it's cool because we played with prototypes, lots of demos. And you choose, to go in the Editor time frame. You pick up the small deck of cards of the Renaissance era, and you can just choose at the table all the characters that you want to play in that situation. And the players just put it onto the character sheet, and voila, you have a new character ready to play. And of course, in the game, there's all the tools you need to create your own also, because we couldn't cover all history, of course. We couldn't.
Yeah,
just,
I have a question about that here. Will we be able to create our own Assassin's character in another historical period outside of the lore of the current Assassin's Creed games?
Of course, yes. That was something that was, as soon as we started to play. But first of all, we added 4 canon new time frame, not covered by the, not fully covered by the video game series, because of course we will have all the time frames of the video games. So for example, all the 13 assassins that we mentioned earlier with the miniatures, each have their own time period for the golden age of piracy, the Ptolemaic Egypt, the Viking age, and so on. But we felt the need to add more. So the role-playing game will have the World War II time frame, the World War I time frame, the Sengoku Jidai time frame, and the ancient Rome time frame. And it's just an example of what you can do with this game. We made them because we wanted them to be part of the storylines of Forging History, for example. But that's just one thing that you can do. But at your table, you can create whatever you want, and you can visit whenever you want, so to speak.
Yeah. One of the things that we really wanted to do is also that to play the game, you don't need an encyclopedic knowledge of a time period, because when you play an ancestral memory, when you explore an ancestral memory in the Animus, you're just playing out a few scenes. You're not living your life in the Middle Ages or in France during the Second World War. So you don't need to know all the details. You just need those details that are vital to the scene. And that's absolutely a possibility for you. That gives you the chance to explore anything. If you have a time period that you like, especially because you're a scholar, you studied Japanese culture at university or something like that, you can use that knowledge to set up an exciting simulation sequence. But then you can move to a different one, and simply by learning what's needed to set up, for example, a heist or an attack at a caravan or an assassination attempt, of course.
Yeah, you just need consistency. But said that, you can do everything you want, even because creating one of the time period characters is just the same procedure and quick procedure of creating your modern day character. So it really takes but a few minutes to say, and I'm exaggerating. So
yeah, we have a few of the witnesses right here, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe you can talk a bit more about the system. So how do you create characters in this game? Both modern day characters and historical witnesses. And I see a question here that I think you can just cover while you're answering that. Can I be a Templar in this game?
Yes, you can. And in one of the storylines, we made it really clear.
Spoiler.
You could. Yes, of course. Even because we that's a missing assassin from the roster of assassins that we have. So we already mentioned it in one of the videos that went out on Instagram. We don't have Shay Cormac, which was the Templar assassin, the traitor one. But there's no reason why you couldn't, just put it into the game if you like it. And you can do basically whatever you want. We just, the cards that we made, the pre-made characters that we provided are just, a hint of what you can do. And the ready to go characters that we thought were cool to bring on the table for your first sessions. But once again, if you want to create new characters, you can. So how do you create a character? It's very simple. So the game is a fiction first game. It really gives importance to the fiction, so what you are going to describe during the game. So it's very narrative based. And in fact, if you look at these are basically these are called the witness files, but the descendant files, which is your playable character in modern day, follows just the same pattern. And the only numbers that you can see are those 4 numbers, which are related to the approaches of the characters. Approaches are basically the way you indeed approach a scene described by the reader, which is the game master in the game of Assassin's Creed, and they basically represent the difficulty that your character is usually approaching any type of situation with that approach. So it never changes, basically. And but with raises and stuff, some a more advanced part of the rule set. All the rest, apart from those numbers, is just things that you want to write on your character sheet. So it's your identity, of course. It's just your name and who you are. The description is who you are in the world you are active at this moment. So if it's the modern day, you are a doctor, or you are a student, or you are a soldier, whatever. If it's in a simulation, you can be a warrior, a guard, or there the possibilities are infinite. Then you have a quote, the gear, all the gear stuff, traits, hindrance, and languages. So the quote is once again another tool that you use to describe your character. So to describe the way, it's another aspect of your character in the game. As far as concerned about the gear is just the tools that you have at your disposal during the game, and the traits are related to mechanics that you can activate during the game. So even though they are keywords, basically traits and hindrance, they're also they can be activated during the game to enhance your chances of success when you roll the dice. Languages, of course, are just a narrative escamotage. If you are in France and you don't speak French, it could be a problem in the scene. If you speak it the other way, you'll be advantaged, and so on. But as you can see, it's just writing down stuff and just deciding a couple of combination of numbers, and you're done. So that's really
one of the
really
things
quick.
that I really like of the design of the game, of the game mechanics, is that Max and Andrea came from designing rather crunchy games, because of course they were very proficient with 5e, with Brancalonia and Inferno. But this game needed something completely different, needed something that couldn't be a simulation, because we were talking about multiple realities, basically different time frames, different type of characters, and also one of the bywords that we had to create this game was to make it really fast. And it's not simply a sales pitch. It's something that needed to be fast, because since we're playing with memories when we're not in the modern day, we want to play with the exciting stuff. It's like when you think about something, you don't remember the boring parts of something. You remember the exciting parts. So it's a built-in feature of the game that when you play a simulation, you're not playing guys around the table talking or playing cards. You're talking about something exciting that can be a shootout, can be an argument, can be a chase. So when you get into the simulation, you start immediately in the middle of the action. needed to be about that. We couldn't have a super detailed game where, okay, we're in a car chase, so what type of car? Do you have the driving abilities for this? Do you? So it needed to be something that was very much story driven. So, but at the same time, it's not up simply to the narration. It's not simply up to what we say and what the game master, that's called the reader here, answers. So we had a very solid numerical mechanic there that makes use of iconic dice with the icons that you see there. Connected to the different approaches. You can use your D6s also if you want to, but hey, it's nicer, more effective with the icons. But it's a game system that brings together the possibility that you have to just describe something. So, okay, we need to stop a car from leaving the stronghold, and how do we do it? Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm going to steal a bike, and at the same time you jump from a bridge over the truck and so on. You have stuff happening all the time and very quickly, and the mechanics just do that because you describe the approach, you make one roll, and you modify that roll with everything you have on your character sheet, and how you can actually affect the description. So maybe you have some gear that is effective. Maybe you have a quote that you can use at the right moment. Maybe you have some abilities, because of course, especially if you're playing an assassin, you have all those fancy abilities that the assassin had to affect the situation. And that keeps the game to be really, really, really fast-paced.
Yeah.
Speaking of the abilities, we might want to go there. So this is very unique as well. The system as a whole is very unique, I feel. Like I cannot think of other RPG where you change characters like you change clothes. Like,
Yes.
now I'm going this and this place and that place. So what are the abilities? How do they work?
Yeah. So by the way, that's what the trailer, when the trailer of the game says a role-playing game like none you've played before. You know, it's, I mean, role-playing is role-playing. You know, once you role-played once, you can role-play you know, whatever game you want. But
Real life.
this way, yeah, the mechanical part, you know, how you handle your characters, how you manage your skills and abilities and checks, that's something that, I mean, we could be wrong. We don't know all the games out there, of course. But I never seen something like this, so we're very happy of you know, being making this. So how skills works? I will ask you to go back on the slide with the character sheet, just
This
to
one?
have. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as you can see, there's a bar at the center that divides the character sheet into two parts. On the left side, we have our characters, or, you know, our main character in the modern day, or the witness cards that are going to be placed just upon it. In the middle, you can see that you have some, you know, XP's boxes, some, you know, percentage number boxes. So this is our Descendant Bleed and Witness Sync bar. Just a step back, what's a Descendant and what's a Witness? Of course, as we already said, tons of time in this. The Descendant is the character that we use in the modern day. So he's the descendant of those assassins that we want to investigate the life of in the past. The Witnesses are those who witnessed the events that we want to investigate. So it could be your ancestor or a Nico, which is something that we might talk about later. So, but Witnesses are those characters we use in simulations. So if we are in the modern day, we look at that bar and think of it as the Descendant Bleed bar. But if you are in the simulation, you look at the same very bar and you look at it as the Witness Synchronization bar. So what does it represent? Whenever we go into a simulation, into a sequence, if it's modern day simulation, doesn't matter. If we go into a sequence, we have key objectives to be achieved in the game. So we narrate what we do, but we have objectives that we want to reach. You know, we want to do something. We want to assassinate a Templar. We want to retrieve a piece of Eden. We want to, discover information important for the history of humankind. So Those key objectives determine the way we can progress during the session. So the way we progress during the session is we get access to those blocks, those boxes in the bar. So, for example, in the example here, we have Ezio Auditore, who is synchronized at 50% probably or something like that, and he has access to what? To extra dice he can use to be added to his, to their rolls, and to skills, because you can see that at step 1, 3, and 5 of the synchronization bar, there's just those lines connecting to skills. So whenever we reach a level of synchronization or bleed enough to unlock a skill, we can choose whatever skill we want out of those pre-made for the game, and mix it and use them as we see fit for the session that we are going to play in that mode. So why this? We had a huge problem. Let's call it issue. Problem sounds just too heavy. We had assassins that are basically capable of anything. You take Ezio Auditore, you take Connor, you take Edward Kennedy. They just beasts. They can jump, they can fight, they can think clearly, they are wise, they can do whatever they want. So how to do it without just filling the character sheet of skills and talents, and like other games more crunchy do. We wanted to have it quick and easy to play with. So we thought of cards. So you have access to every single skill in the game, but you have to choose which one to use for that session or for that, for your, in the modern day, it works slightly different. You have to choose them, and they stick, the ones that you choose, they stick with you until you get to the maximum bleed level. But that's the way we use. Along the session, you synchronize, you progress. And this is also a way to kind of feel also a pre-generated character such as a witness, because you don't have the chance to choose what Ezio Auditore wears or to choose which traits he has, because we already wrote down them for you. But you can at least choose the skills that he's using, and so your Ezio Auditore will be different from mine, will be different from Francesco's, and so on. So that's just a way to give this feeling to the player, and this is basically how skills works.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's another of the features of the game that I really like, because it's really so different. I mean, the idea that you're playing, it's something that even fans of the Assassin's Creed video game might not realize when they play the game, because the focus of the video game shifted a lot from the idea of a modern day guy getting into the animals and playing a memory. In this case, that concept is very much in the center of it all. So the idea that when you're playing an ancestor, or in any case, when you're playing a simulation, you're inside the simulation. So you're playing a memory. So everything that you're playing through is actually reliving the memory that already happened. And the sync is exactly representing this, the idea that as long as you are playing what really happened, you are getting better in filling the shoes of your ancestor, of one of the echoes that witnessed the event. So it's one of the things that I think is giving players and game masters a lot of freedom when we play the game, because there's so much to explore in this idea that everything that happens in the simulation is not real. So it's something that already happened. So if something goes wrong, it can be because you desynced yourself, and so the simulation breaks down and you're out of the animus again, and stuff like that. Or you can have things happening in the modern day that brings you out of the animus. Of like fans of the Assassin's Creed franchise know there are even ways of the two things blending into each other, especially if the precursors are concerned. So I think it's an amazing thing that not many role-playing games allow you to do, because again, you're playing multiple identities, multiple characters. So I'm really looking forward to see what the players will do with it.
Yeah. Well, the pre-order starts tomorrow, and as usual, we do have a few exclusives to those who pre-order the game. So why don't we cover that? Of course, I think everyone watching us might already know, might have seen a few of them already, but one of the exclusives is a package with 13 miniatures for the 13 assassins. And I think we could maybe see a few of them now. Oh, no. Oh, I got it wrong, actually. Damn. Okay.
Here it
My
is.
Let's
fault.
put a pin on what I said and quickly talk about the quick start rules first.
Yeah.
Because these are available right now. In fact, we do have a
Yes.
piece of feedback here. Our
Well,
group
don't
has tried the quick start and it works like a dream. Fortunately, my players want XP. So when will the PDF go out?
Yeah. Great. No, it's great to hear that it worked like a dream, and it will be way thicker than that, I guess, because it's like
Yes.
130 pages of a
Yes.
quick start. Yes, we of course we started with let's make it 80, let's make it, but then again, we wanted to showcase the game. At first we wanted to leave out the modern day part of it, but since it is such an important component of the game in the end, we couldn't leave it out. So of course you have a good bunch of the complete rule set already included in the quick start. Of course, you don't have character creation, you don't have the experience mechanics, but you have all you need to just play a quick session, like for example the one included with some pre-made characters from the World War II era, and you can use pre-generated modern day characters as well, which are also inspired to the team. So it's also been fun to make those art requests. And so in this quick start, you will have an introduction to the lore of Assassin's Creed, which is huge lore. We tried to shorten it down a bit to just give a rough idea of what the assassins and the Templars and the precursor civilization are to those who might not know the video game series. And you have some an illustration of what it is contained into the character sheet. So all those traits and all those features that we talked about earlier. You have the basic mechanics of the game, so how the rolling the dice works, how you can involve traits and hindrance and quote into your game, and also how to use gear. So I saw a question about stealing weapons from the guards. Of course you can do it, and even though you wouldn't have space on the character sheet or on the card of the witness, there's no problem. Once again, it's fiction. It's all narrative, and there's a rule in the quick start that says temporary gear items. So all of those items that are not on your character sheet, but if you steal a weapon from a guard, you have that weapon, you can use it just until the end of the sequence or until you get rid of it. So yes, you can do it. And one of the skill cards before the Slate of Hand cards just allows you to do it with no roll involved. So you do it for free because you're so good at stealing stuff that you can probably do it without rolling a stealth check or whatever. So, and of course, pre-generated characters and a quick session divided into a simulation sequence and a modern day sequence to be played to, give it a try and see if it's your cup of tea or not.
Oh. And this is available now. Just to clarify, this is available now. You can go to our website and download the rules and play it right now. And how do you make the rolls? Since we have custom dice and and a deck of cards and etc., you just pair it up with the free app, which you guys can introduce to us now.
Yeah, as Francesco told already, you can also use standard dice. You don't need, the iconic dice are not required, but of course it's just better. But you could just switch with standard dice and you're good to go. But if you don't have access to the dice, or as many of us do nowadays, you play, through a screen, like we are talking with Helena, Francesca, and me right now. If you go online, you might not have the chance to put the game on the table and use cards with your friends, because basically there's no real table. So, but everybody can make use of the Assassin's Creed app, which includes everything you need to play. So as you can see, there's just the character sheet put on a screen, vertically. You have an included dice roller that works exactly how you would roll your dice at home on your table. You can create your characters. I mean, yes, you can already do it. I think there's already online the custom character feature. You can load skills, and super cool. I mean, I want to shout out to Luis Alvarez, the guy who made this. He's just made it a crazy good job, because for example, when you roll the dice, you want to have skills under your eye, because since skills might be related to the dice rolling, you want to know which skills you have active at any time, and you can do it with this roller, because if you go to the roller, you see the skills you have active just below the roller. So it's just perfect. You have the extra dice that you can just tap to gain. You have the experience tracker. You can load pieces of it, and of course, right now it's just a beta version. It's basically the counterpart of the quick start, so not everything has been uploaded and accessible, but you can use it to play the quick starter adventure, because it also includes the pre-generated character for modern day. So, I mean, with the app and the Animus training program, you have all you need to decide whether you want to make that pre-order tomorrow, and I think you will do.
Yeah, you're ready to try it firsthand. So it's not simply listening to us, but you can check it out.
You don't have to trust us. I mean, you can, but don't have to. So coming back to that pin from before, I think it's time. We saw some miniatures. Let's see if I get it right this time. Yes, here they are. So, okay, so beautiful. By pre-ordering tomorrow, one of the exclusives you get is a set of 13 miniatures, and we'll take a look at them individually now because they look amazing. So who are we looking at here, Matt?
So we are looking at Edward Kenway, the Golden Age of Piracy assassin of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Then we have Altair, the very first assassin of the series, the one that just started it all. We have Ezio Auditore, one of the most famous of the franchise, probably one of the most beloved character of. It had like 3 games dedicated to him, so it's just basically all of his life has been treated in the video game series. And then we have Xiao Jun, which is the Chinese assassin of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. They're beautiful. They're stunning.
They are.
And just to show that they are not only renders. This is an example of what you can be expecting.
They do exist in real life. A rare sight of an assassin. Okay.
Yeah,
so
all of them, by the way. Oh, yeah, sorry. All of them.
That was going to be my question. What are their size? They do look a bit bigger.
Okay. Oh, the size is, technically speaking, is 37 millimeters to the eye. So they are larger than what you find in most board games, for example. And the reason for that was that these are meant to be as detailed as possible. We wanted them to be something that the fans will cherish because they're so good. And that's also why we used a top artist to do them. These all come out from the hands of Antonio De Luca and his Quadra Studio, an amazing artist. And of course, they were approved by Ubisoft and then came back to us, and the 3D sculpts were created by Big Child Creative. That is an amazing studio in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. So, but this is just the beginning. These are just 4 out of 13.
Okay.
So here we have Adewale, who is a companion of Edward Kenway, we've seen before. Then there is, I would call him Connor, because the native name is very hard to tell. So let's stick with Connor. And of course, Arnaud Dorian of Assassin's Creed Unity. So we have here Assassin's Creed 3, Unity, and Black Flag, or the DLC of Black Flag. But yeah, we try to bring all the most iconic assassins of the, bringing them all was it was cool to see Antonio working on the concepts, and because I mean, as a fan of the series, I've seen those characters tons of times, but seeing them this cool by the hand of Antonio De Luca was another time so good. So it's crazy to be a part of this,
I love that the miniatures not only bring their iconic poses and weapons, but also the setting via these.
Yes,
this really cool.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I love the fact that they chose to have part of the setting as the base for the figure, because of course they tell so much about the character and the time frame they're taken from.
Next trio.
Yeah, so we have the 2 Fries, the Fry twins, which are on the left, and on the right we have Evie Fry and Jacob Fry of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and then we have here at the center Bayek from Siwa, who is the protagonist of Assassin's Creed Origins. And once again, I mean, I'm going to say crazy, good, gorgeous at every slide, because they're very good. Can't wait to have them.
True. And the final 3.
Yeah. So we have Ivor on the left.
With her boat, probably in a very dire situation.
Yeah, very dire, yes. Yeah, probably her player just made a huge mistake and just had a bad roll on those dice. And so Ivor on the left of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, on the right Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and at the center the new entry Basim of Assassin's Creed Mirage. So yes, we will have Basim in the book, the Legacy of the Brotherhood book, with a dedicated adventure hooks, simulation sequences, and stuff. And we wanted to be up to date with Ubisoft on this. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just to repeat the concept, all 13 miniatures represent the 13 characters that we have in Legacy of the Brotherhood, the Legacy of the Brotherhood book. So you will be able to see the amazing artwork by Antonio De Luca that brought to life these miniatures.
Yeah.
But that's not all the exclusives. I also have a back shot with the full thing here. So apart from the 13 miniatures, which you can see on the right, we also have this cool box / Game Master screen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're not.
Yeah, that's the reader screen. So it's the Game Master screen that locks magnetically with magnets. It embraces the box and makes it a whole. And you don't have to imagine again a huge box, because it's digest size, so it's a smaller box compared to an A4 or letter, but with lots of pages. And the box contains the 3 books and also the other exclusives, and so the box of miniatures and the box for the accessories. So you have everything in one place. So the
Exactly.
cards, the witness cards, the gear and pieces of Eden, and so on.
Yes.
Basically everything you
Yes.
see there.
Yeah, it's 2 decks. It's smaller cards for skills and standard poker cards for witnesses and pieces of Eden. 2 sets of dice. It's beautiful.
Okay. We are almost out of time. It's been almost 1 hour, so let's get a few final questions and then say our goodbyes. Can it be played solo? So that's an interesting question for an RPG.
Yeah,
Can
for
it?
an
Well,
RPG,
nowadays
pretty-
it's less unusual.
Oh.
I mean, of course, it depends. It depends if you mean to play solo with one player and the reader, so the GM, in this case, one-on-one. And that's yes, that's a yes, that's possible. If you mean solo exactly, that's something that is being explored by many games lately. The possibility of playing a game exactly as a sort of a where you play the GM and the character at the same time, and it's a very interesting experience. There are several games out there that do it really well. In this case, not yet, not so far. So we don't have a possibility to play the game solo.
Yeah,
We really want this game to be a social experience. So a game where you get the creativity of a group together. But who knows? That might be a direction to explore one day.
yeah.
Okay, another question here. Any chance that future supplement eras will come out in RPG boxes? So questions about the future, always tricky.
Always.
Yeah, it's a double question actually, because if we will have future supplements first, and if they will come in boxes. Now, we have ideas. We have ideas on potential supplements for the future, not simply about new eras, but about many different possibilities that this game system offers. So it depends a lot on you. So it depends on how the pre-order will go. We have not been idle. I mean, we're ready to start working on something right after the pre-order, if need be. Of course, we're fully committed to support the game as long as it's played. So, looking forward to see the reaction.
Also with the app, we can having the structure built in the company as the game gets updated, so will the app. So there's no fear for the app too.
Yeah, to become obsolete. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, and I think finally, we only have time for one more. What pledge levels are going to be available to pick? So I don't think we're confirming anything at this moment, but there will be a few different levels to choose from. So stay tuned tomorrow. I have one more.
Yes.
Is the app live? Yes, now you can.
Yes. Totally. Yes. There should be a link both on the quick start that you can download, but if you go on the CMON's website, there's the article about the Assassin's Creed quick start launch, which includes the link to the app. It's live and working. Yes. So go and try it out.
So we are opening for pre-orders tomorrow, September 5th at 3 p.m. EST, our usual time for opening Kickstarters and such. We do have a list where you can sign up to be notified when the pre-orders are live. And there's also a cool feature there that allows you to find out about your assessing ancestor. So recommend everyone checks it out. And any final thoughts from you guys before we wrap this up? Let's start with Francesco.
Well, it's Again, I think I said this before, but maybe not publicly. I was really happy to work on this because it was the first experience as a sort of a team manager for the thing. So I participated to the design, but from as an external element, as a supervisor and providing whenever I could inspiration and a direction for the project. But it was really good to work with Max and Andrea, who came to the project with a lot of enthusiasm as fans of the franchise, and with the chance of doing something that was not simply a cash grab with the famous IP. That's an easy thing to do if you don't want to do a good job, but we really were committed to do a good job, and Max and Andrea too. So I think you will agree when you see that we didn't sit on our asses, sorry, but we really challenged ourselves in doing that in every aspect, production wise and design wise. So it's really something that I'm incredibly proud to have been part of.
I would just have to quote Francesco, and it's been. I mean, being a fan has been also probably more exciting because it's the first experience for me, and Andrea can talk for Andrea too, with such a chance, such a possibility to make this job for a brand this big, for a company this good, and having the chance to play with stuff. Also, I said earlier, since we're in CMON, we can play with tools, cards, iconic dice, and make stuff that maybe on your own you be it would be quite challenging. But having all these possibilities really made us give 100% and more, because we wanted it to be the game that we would like to play, as fans. So it was a challenge, of course, because you have to trust yourself, and but with the guide and yeah, exactly. But with Francesco as a constant voice in our ears, and being always present to give us a hand whenever we were in doubt, I think that the result is a good role-playing game. It's good for a fan of the series. It's good for our role players. Just give it a chance with a quick start, and let's see how it goes.
Just the one final thing. I would also like to say that Ubisoft was incredibly supportive. They really liked. I was really happy when we proposed our pitch. They really liked the concept. They were totally 100% with us. I think that also this won our case in doing the game when we presented our concept, and they were constantly on with us, checking what we were doing, and so it was a breeze with them, working with them. And there are many role players there. So it's not a company that is separated from a role-playing game. They absolutely know what we were doing, and they were able to judge it.
Yeah, that's really cool when that happens. Well, thank you both for joining me. Thank you all for joining us. And I guess I'll see you very soon, tomorrow, 3 p.m. EST, when we launch the pre-orders. Thank you so much.
Looking forward.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Elena. Bye-bye.